Alright, it's time for the Eight of Cups. So in the Eight of Cups, we have a figure, generally, who has turned his back on the cups and he's starting to ascend up the mountain, right? So he's leaving emotional things behind and he's going on some sort of quest. And in this one we can see he kind of has feathers at the top of his staff and the moon is high above. So he's seeking something emotionally, right? There's something that he desires that has not been fulfilled, and he's going to seek that thing out because he is moving it towards the moon. So he's moving to emotional fulfillment. So when I move into this card, it feels to me like he has a lot of experience and he's had a lot of ups and he's had a lot of downs, right? But he has not found those things to be emotionally fulfilling in some way. He hasn't found them to be spiritually fulfilling. And I feel like this figure has kind of grown tired of that. He's kind of like, okay, like this can't go on anymore, right? So it's kind of like, you know, I'm going to let go of these things that maybe I thought that I wanted or I thought that I should have or other people said that I should do or have or be or whatever. And you know what, I'm just going to go inside and I'm going to do what's emotionally fulfilling for me. So what I do feel from this card is boundaries, right? Not allowing other people's projections or thoughts about or feelings about what we should do. Like, we're no longer allowing it to influence us, right? Like, we've put at the boundary and we're like, no, like, you're not going to dictate what I'm doing, how I'm spending my time, what my hobbies are, etc. Like, I'm going to go do what I want to do irregardless of what you think about it. So I do feel that from this energy. I also feel like the figure in the card is leaving behind maybe all sorts of different things about his life and going on a completely new path. So maybe he's leaving that emotionally unfulfilling career, or maybe he's leaving that unemotionally fulfilling relationship, and he's decided to go within and actually contemplate what he really needs, what he really wants, what his true desires are, what his, you know, authentic vision for his life is, because what he has created thus far is not it. So another thing that I do get from this card is it's very much about like soul alignment. When you have, you know, things happening in your world that are not what you want and they feel draining and they don't feel good, it's probably because you're not in alignment. And when you do tap into your inner self and your intuition and you feel what is in alignment for you, you know, then you know how to create the situations in your life that are in alignment and do feel good because you know what your values are. So this man is also on a search for his deepest values, what his deepest fulfillment is. All right, so we also have the Eight of Water. Emotionally letting go of a situation. Moving on a new path. Changing your life circumstances with the Eight of Raphael. And then the Eight of Summer as well has an angel and she's walking on a new path going in a new direction. Okay? Alright, so let's do the energy of this card reversed. Alright, so the first thing I notice is that where this figure is happily walking away, this one is not able to leave. So this one feels like attached and bound to these things that he's finding unfulfilling, almost like there's all these fear cords to whatever the situation is or the thing that's going on in his life that's making him, that is generating the feelings of feeling bored or lack of fulfillment, lack of purpose, lack of joy. He feels attached and bound to these things, like he cannot leave them, right? Like he has to be attached to these things that are no longer working for him. And you know, maybe he can't leave because of responsibilities or family ties or something to the nature of that, but I really do feel like it's an emotional problem, right? We are in the Suit of Cups, so there's some sort of emotional fear of leaving. There's some sort of an emotional attachment that is stopping him from actually moving on. So even though he may think, oh, it's these things outside of me that are stopping me from moving on, it's not. It's the emotional entanglement and the ability to not emotionally let go and move on like this guy is, right? Like it seems like this guy was like, yeah, okay, I'm done now. let me go in this new direction, let me go in this new path. Whereas this guy's like, I have no idea how I'm going to go into that new path. Like, how am I going to get over where I am right now? I can't even imagine, like, collecting all my things and riding off into the sunset. Like, I don't know how to do that. The other thing that this card can mean as well is not being able to make a decision, right? You think about leaving, but then you're like, oh no, wait, I've got to stay. And then as soon as you've decided to stay, you're like, no, I think I want to leave. And then you make your mind up to leave, and then you're like, no, 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 really, I should stay, right? So it's a sort of like oscillation of not actually making a command decision and choosing a path. It's refusing to choose a path, refusing to take any sort of stance, and instead wallow in like wishy-washiness, right?